I felt the exact moment my heart stopped. There was no more pain, no more body, nothing left that belonged to the world I knew. I drifted upward, light as breath, heavy as fate. I saw myself lying there, face pressed against the wall, hair spilled out like a brittle branch dropped in the middle of the night. No one called my name, no radiant light appeared. There was only blackness, thick like memory, endless like the questions I had buried throughout the decades of my life. Why did I live this life? For whom? For what? And why did I keep returning from the edge of death? My name is Emma Grace Walker. I have died 9 times, and the 10th time, I never came back the same. I am 48 years old, an ordinary American woman, not famous, not extraordinary, nothing remarkable except for a heart that skips its rhythm. I live with a rare genetic heart condition. A single flaw in my DNA makes my heart stop without warning. For 30 years, doctors misdiagnosed me with epilepsy. 30 years of the wrong medications, false hope, and living the wrong story. I thought I was a patient. I was a woman dying in slow motion. I have 2 daughters, and I passed this condition on to them. The moment I saw my youngest collapse onto the floor, I understood. Every mistake I had ignored, every sign I had dismissed, had returned in the body of the child I loved most. I once believed I was just a burden, but in the moment I died, I realized I was the missing piece of my own life, and to truly live, I had to look back at everything from a place beyond life. Have you ever left your body and still felt every sensation, every cry, every sob of the people you left behind? I lived a life full of roles, yet empty of soul. I was a mother, a wife, a patient, the woman who always showed up when someone needed care, but no one ever really saw me. I lived inside a body that never felt like my own, a body that skipped beats, spun out of rhythm, kept me from running, from dancing, even from falling asleep without the fear I might never wake up. But what scared me more than death itself was the feeling of being misunderstood, misdiagnosed, mislabeled. For 30 years, I carried the name epileptic. Each time I fainted, seized, or lost consciousness, I was rushed to the hospital. They scanned my brain. They prescribed medication. They never once listened to my heart. And eventually, I stopped listening to it too.
Do you know what it feels like to have the whole world tell you something's wrong with you, but no one ever asks where it hurts? That was my life. 30 years of it. Every pill I swallowed was an attempt to convince myself maybe they're right. Every collapse in the kitchen, the bathroom, the bed, I waited in silence, hoping someone would notice. I didn't want to be a burden, but I didn't want to disappear either. The only thing that kept me here was my 2 daughters. Both were born healthy. I prayed that the broken thread would end with me, until the day my youngest began to faint, to seize, to black out, just like I had. Then came one doctor, one cardiologist, the first and only in all those years, who looked deeper and said, "This is not epilepsy. This is cardiac, and it could kill your daughter at any moment." It hit me like lightning. Everything shattered. It wasn't in my head. I wasn't fragile. I wasn't crazy. I had a real condition, and I had passed it on to my child. You have no idea how heavy that guilt is. I am her mother. I gave her life, and now I had nearly taken it away. But the worst part was when the doctor turned to me and said, "We believe you're the genetic source." They examined my heart. They implanted a defibrillator in my chest, and I finally understood that if I fainted again without that device, I would never wake up. I began living like someone split between 2 worlds. One world where I was a mom, a caregiver, the one who held everything together, and another world where I was already halfway gone, a body on borrowed time, depending on a machine to keep my heart from stopping for good. I smiled. I cooked. I took my kids to school. But I knew any moment I could collapse in the grocery store, in the shower, or while holding my daughter as she slept. I lived like that year after year. I thought I had made peace with it. Until one early morning, everything truly stopped. Have you ever woken up and realized you were no longer inside your own body? I don't remember what time I fell asleep. I just remember how quickly night fell that evening, how the cold wind slipped through the window like a quiet signal that something was coming. I felt tired, but not the usual kind of tired. It wasn't exhaustion, it was emptiness. My body was still whole, but something inside me was preparing to leave. I laid down, and before my back even touched the pillow, I felt my consciousness pull away. There was no pain, no dizziness, just a gentle drop, and then everything went black. When I opened my eyes, I wasn't in my body anymore. I saw myself. Yes, I saw my body lying, twisted, face turned toward the wall, neck tilted like an old doll discarded on the floor. My eyes were shut, hands limp, hair tangled across the pillow. But what truly chilled me wasn't what I saw. It was the fact that I was no longer inside it. I was floating above, weightless and invisible, yet entirely aware. I had no arms, no legs, no shape, but I was still me. I could feel everything in the room, the air, the energy, the space. It felt like a dream, but it was terrifying in its clarity. I didn't know I had died, but I knew I wasn't alive. There was no heartbeat, no sensation tying me to that body. I could hear the dry, mechanical sound of the defibrillator implanted in my chest, humming uncertainly, then stopping, like even the machine was unsure if it should bring me back this time. That's when I began to fall, not down, but into something vast and directionless, a blackness that wasn't frightening, just thick and warm and still, so still it erased all sense of time. No sound, no laughter from my children, no echo of the world I had known. Only me, alone, surrounded by the weight of unanswered questions I had never dared to face. I tried to call my daughter's name, but no sound came out. I had no voice, only thought, and my thoughts echoed like a cry from the center of my soul. I don't want to die, not like this. Not without telling them, not without one more moment, one more breath, one more chance to live. But was anyone listening? Did anyone know I was still here, in this nameless space between what was and what might be? And then I felt it, a presence, no face, no voice, but unmistakably real. It wasn't a person, it wasn't a thing, it was a force. A field of awareness that wrapped around me. It was love, but not human love, not earned, not explained. It simply was. Have you ever felt completely seen without being touched, fully known without needing to speak, as if someone reached into the most hidden corners of your being and understood everything you ever tried to hide and stayed anyway? I had no body, but I knew I was being held. I wasn't falling anymore. I wasn't drifting. It felt as if some invisible hand had gently caught me, not to pull me back, but to keep me still in the center of that silence. I didn't hear sound, but every thought I had was answered, not with words, but with feeling, a kind of communication beyond language, as if my soul was in direct conversation with something far greater than anything I had ever believed in. I had no body, but I knew I was being held. I wasn't falling anymore. I wasn't drifting. It felt as if some invisible hand had gently caught me, not to pull me back, but to keep me still in the center of that silence. I didn't hear sound, but every thought I had was answered, not with words, but with feeling, a kind of communication beyond language, as if my soul was in direct conversation with something far greater than anything I had ever believed in. Then I began to see, not with my eyes, but with awareness. I was suspended inside a spinning space, radiant like millions of kaleidoscope shards exploding all at once. I saw colors that have no name in any human tongue. I saw shapes that moved like breath, like living light. I was surrounded by an energy so soft, so warm, that I wanted to dissolve into it forever. I had no sense of time, but I knew I was being loved. This love wasn't coming from someone specific. There were no tender eyes, no embrace, no comforting whispers. And yet, it was stronger than any love I had ever experienced. So strong, I could feel old memories being wiped clean. Scars deep inside me are dissolving without explanation. I didn't have to prove anything. I didn't need to defend myself. I didn't need to be perfect. I only had to be myself, and that was enough. But I didn't just feel myself being loved. I felt every other soul. People I had met, people I had lost, people I had missed, even those I never knew by name. I felt them, not their faces, not their stories, but their essence, their presence, their connection. It was as if between me and everyone else, there had never truly been a separation. And in that moment, I knew I wasn't alone. I had never been alone. I saw that every time I curled up in a dark corner, thinking I was invisible, there had been something beside me I couldn't see. I understood I had always been watched over, even when I didn't believe it. And for the first time in my life, I no longer saw myself as a burden. I saw myself as part of something sacred. I didn't want to leave this place. I wanted to disappear into that light completely, to stay forever. But then a message came. It wasn't a question. It wasn't a command. It was the truth. You were born to do something, and you haven't finished. You must return. But this time, you will not return the same. I do not know who sent the message. There was no voice, no face, yet it was clearer than any advice I have ever heard. So clear, I could not deny it. So clear, my soul could not resist it. You were born to do something, and you have not finished. I was given no choice, no negotiation, no chance to bargain for a place in the light. I was simply informed, as if an ancient truth older than time itself, a soul covenant I had signed before birth, was being read aloud again. There was nothing to debate, nothing to explain, only trust and the call to return. Two currents rose inside me. The first was desperate resistance. I did not want to leave this realm. I had never belonged anywhere so completely. I had never been loved, held, seen, and forgiven so wholly. I did not want to return to the world where every day I pretended to be fine, where illness defined me, where every call seemed to pass through me as if I were invisible. I did not want that life again. Yet the second current surged, stronger and quieter, but impossible to ignore. Understanding. I understood why I had survived 9 cardiac arrests, why my daughter's illness emerged just as I was ready to give up, why my flawed heart kept fighting to beat again and again. Every crack in my life was not meant to break me, but to let the light enter. I was born not merely to survive, but to live fully, to feel, to connect, to love with a heart that has never been completely healed, knowing that through that wound the light can shine. The message did not thunder down like prophecy. It arrived as a sudden burst of remembering, an awakening. I realized I can do something for others, not through perfection, but through authenticity, through the journey I have walked and will keep walking. I do not know how I will return, yet I know this time I will come back changed. I thought the moment to go had arrived, yet it had not, for I sensed another presence drawing near. I could not see a face, yet I knew I was before a presence greater than anything I had ever believed. It was not a person, not a shape, no blinding light, no throne. It was an awareness so vast that it silenced me completely, dissolved me completely, and still I felt no fear. Instead, I felt woven into life itself, neither separate, nor unworthy, nor stained. There was no judgment, no accusation, only a chance to look straight at myself with nothing left to hide. Then a question reached the deepest part of my soul. It came without words, as simple as a child's whisper and as sharp as a wake-up call. Have you ever truly loved yourself? I wept in my soul because I knew the answer was no. I had loved my daughters with everything I had. I had tried to love the man who was once my husband. I had sacrificed, endured, and bent myself so others would be comfortable. Yet I had never loved myself. I had never told myself, you have the right to exist. You are worthy. I had never held my fragile places without shame. I had never forgiven myself for being born with a heart that missed its rhythm.
The presence said nothing more, offered no sermon, no analysis. Instead, it wrapped me in an invisible embrace that gathered every part I had tried to hide, not to erase those parts, but to show me that every crack in me was part of my design. I was not wrong. I was not broken. I was being shaped in ways my soul had chosen long before it entered this body. I understood. Forgiveness does not come from outside. It begins when I stop despising myself. I also understood this. If I return, I must carry that truth back, not as a lecture, but as a living certainty that every person is already seen, already loved, and already holds a unique purpose. That is my covenant, not to hunt for answers on their behalf, but to help them remember the truth they have always carried within. I woke without realizing I had woken. My eyes opened, yet I thought I was still dreaming. The familiar room appeared like an old photograph. The bed, the window frame, the dim bulb, the drowsy air. But everything seemed covered by an unseen glow, not dazzling or surreal, simply bright, gentle, and completely real. I could not move at first. My body felt newly assembled, every muscle, every joint, every beat. I heard the device in my chest restart, a soft knock from the realm of the living, and I began to cry. Not from pain, but from the certainty that I had been allowed to return and had been given another chance. The first person I saw was my daughter, head resting on the edge of the bed, eyes swollen. When she looked up and saw mine open, her sob was no longer a child's sound, but the cry of a soul that had almost lost a mother forever. I raised my hand and touched her hair, and in that moment I understood that I had not come back for myself alone. I had come back to love with full awareness. From that day, I still walked the same streets, mothered, cooked, shopped, yet every action felt sacred, as though each second carried a deeper dimension. I noticed more in a stranger's eyes, heard sorrow hiding in casual words, touched someone's hand and sensed the tremor they tried to hide. I began to listen with my heart, no longer quick to react, no longer driven to prove anything. I found value in the smallest things, the sound of my child breathing in sleep, the first light filtering through the curtains, the scent of coffee filling the kitchen. My heart was no longer a weakness. It became a compass, guiding not by logic but by feeling, and for the first time I trusted that guidance. Others said I seemed different, lighter, calmer, yet deeper. They did not know where I had been, and they could not understand, but I did not need them to. I have no words precise enough to describe that place. I only know it is real, and the love I received there remains within me even now. Have you ever carried an experience so sacred that you cannot tell it as a story? You can only live it, every day, one breath at a time? I used to think that changing a life required a huge miracle, a lightning strike on a clear day, something loud enough to shatter everything. After dying and coming back, I learned that the greatest miracle begins when you start living differently through the smallest choices. When you listen to the quiet pulse inside your chest, when you stop dodging the truth and face it, when you stop running from pain and place your hand on it and say, I am here and I am not leaving. I am not a preacher or a guru, just an ordinary mother whose heart once stopped. Yet the moment I crossed death's threshold and met the Creator, I understood one thing. We were not born to be flawless, but to awaken, each of us carrying a piece of purpose and none of us expendable. If you are watching this video and feel lost, I want you to hear this. You are not broken. You are not off course. You are being guided home. Every moment that seems directionless is steering you closer to the center of yourself, and every failure, wound, or loss is a crack that lets the light pour in. Live with your heart, not the heart of logic alone, but the heart that feels, aches, trembles, loves, and forgives. Live with the heart that has never been perfect, because only that heart has room enough for light to pass through. My name is Emma Grace Walker, and I died to learn how to live again. Now I live to remind you that you are not alone and you are loved even when you cannot feel it, because love does not disappear. It only waits for you to open the door from the inside.